Good morning and welcome to our Sunday worship service. I am Zena Hartung and I will be your celebrant this morning. I am neither new nor a longtime member of this wonderful congregation, but I'm so glad to be here. I'd like to extend a special welcome to all of those who are joining us for the first time. We are very glad you're here. If you've come in person, you should have received a welcome packet with an information card in it. If you fill that out and drop it in the offertory basket, we will be in touch to support you in finding your way into our community. If you are joining us online, there's a link in our website to an electronic version of that same card. Our welcoming committee members have yellow name tags and can answer any questions you have. Newcomers are also invited to join Washira. Today, his meeting will be in Elizabeth's office. No? Third floor. Oh, it is going to be third floor. All right, good. Or if you'd rather than just dive in, join us for coffee and conversation after the service, either downstairs in our fellowship hall or in our Zoom room. And now, let's say our words of welcome together. Whether this is your first or your 1000th Sunday with us, and whether you strolled, rolled, zoomed, ran, or danced in, we are glad you chose to join us. We are one people of many beliefs, identities, origins, sexualities, and genders. All are welcome here. Now we will take a moment to say hello across the technical divide. First, we're going to show the people joining us on Zoom. If you are at home, please turn on your camera. Now, people at home, wave. Now, people who are attending the service in our building, it's your turn to wave. We do have actually several announcements. Sam, do you want to start with yours?
Sure. Hey everybody, I'm Sam Welsh, I'm the music director here. I just wanted to announce that this coming Wednesday, the 23rd, at 6 p.m. is our next Feed of Dreams dinner. So, big dinner. If you haven't been, it's awesome. Great food. So, we're also going to do a hymn sing. So, it's very informal. We'll start at 7, the dinner's at 6, so you can come up, sing for a little bit, go back down, eat some more, come back and sing, however you want to do it. It's more just a fun thing, and bring a friend, and then Mac and Janice are going to lead it, so I think it'll be a lot of fun, and maybe informative, and maybe we'll get to do some hymns we don't normally get to sing on Sundays, so I think it'll be a blast. So hope to see you there.
Shira, did you have an announcement? Good. Whichever.
Hello, my name is Shira. I'm coordinating the campus ministry, and we need your help. We're trying to feed the students of U Idaho at least twice a month because food security is such a big issue for most students. And so our response is just to try and feed them twice a month with whatever we can. And so we need volunteers to help making the mains, and a few volunteers to help transport, and maybe a few volunteers to help serve the students. It's literally just an afternoon commitment. So if you're free, there are sign-ups all around the wall. Right outside the wall, there's a poster on the wall. You just scan the QR code using your camera, and you can sign up online. And if you have any questions, I'll be outside. Thank you.
Our final announcement is from Lisa Salisbury, the Sexual Orientation and Gender Identity Association at the University.
I'm sorry, I had a message for not hanging down.
Come on.
Hi, I'm Pam, and I'm the chair of the Red Cross Blood Drive. They'll be happening at our church. It's on Thursday, November 7th. and we are looking for 30 volunteers. We have met and exceeded the goal the last 2 times that the Red Cross has been here, and so I want to make it 3 in a row. So make sure you sign up. You can go to their website. Thank you.
Anyone else? So the Sexual Orientation and Gender Identity Association at the University of Idaho is having a chili cook-off in the Fellowship Hall on Saturday, November 2nd at 5 p.m. Do you have an award-winning chili recipe? Please consider entering your dish. We also need people to come and eat and judge the different chilies. Mark your calendar, Saturday, November 2nd, 5 p.m. Admission is $5 per person. All proceeds benefit the Students Club's drive to purchase gender-affirming personal care items for trans students at the University of Idaho. For more information, Lisa, she's got posters and information for you. Here ends the announcements. We preface our service by acknowledging our church was built on ancestral homelands of the Nimipu, called Nez Perce by the French-speaking traders, the Palouse, and the Shishumf, called the Coeur d'Alene. Let us pause and remember we live on ground that is sacred, ground that was stolen, ground that cries out for justice and for responsible stewardship. May our remembering help us find the courage to do our part to restore wholeness to the earth and all her peoples. We are hoping that folks joining us via Zoom have a chalice or a candle to light and something to light it with. Let's light our chalices together. In the light of truth and the warmth of love, we gather to seek and seek to share.
Please be seated. Good morning. I am the Reverend Dr. Elizabeth Stevens, and I am blessed to serve this congregation as its minister. We are continuing our journey through the lifespan today with a service focused on the gifts and challenges of midlife. For some of us, midlife is in the rearview mirror. For others, we're in the thick of it. And some of us are headed in that direction but haven't quite made it yet. I am one who is in the thick of it. And suffice it to say that for all, our culture tries to convince us that entering midlife means we're over the hill. In truth, I found it to be a rich and juicy time of tremendous growth and self-discovery. Sure, there are losses and challenges, but there's also an invitation to embrace the fullness of who we are. Midlife for me has been about claiming my authentic shape. Gradually, I've become less concerned with other people's needs, wants, and expectations, and more in touch with my own needs, wants, and dreams. In spite of weathering some really big and tough losses, I'm happier now than I have ever been. The journey through midlife is not one meant to be navigated alone. I know that I've benefited from multiple circles of good and wise friends who've helped me uncover the gifts waiting for me in this stage of life. The process of discerning not just who we are, but why we are, our sense of meaning and purpose, requires loving witnesses, people who ask the right questions, hold up a mirror, Help us see ourselves and give us a heads up if we're heading in the wrong direction. So this morning we'll think together about what it means to be a human at midlife. And we'll also give thanks for the people who surround us and support us in our process of becoming wherever we are in our lifespan. But let's begin by singing. I invite you to rise in body or spirit. We're going to sing hymn number 1008 in the Teal hymnal, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place. Today is a very, very special day. We are dedicating our new playground. Woo-hoo! We're going to dedicate it using a dedication script created by my colleague, Donna Lou Johnstone. So we're going to do this outside. I'm going to invite all of the kids and any grown-ups who would like to come outside to help. We have bubbles that need blowing, so if you like to blow bubbles. But if you don't feel like coming outside and going down the stairs, you can stay put, because that guy actually figured out how to broadcast the whole thing to the screens in here.
Don't thank me yet. We've never done this.
Okay, so we're actually going to go ahead and sing the Reed benediction as the kids and whatever grown-ups want to help stand and follow Ginger and I out to the playground. Okay, I hope they can hear me inside. I have no idea if they can or not. But we're all going to gather here. Here, will you pass out bubbles? To grown-ups or kids who want bubbles.
And then we'll do the dedication, and then the kids can go in and play for 15 minutes, and then we're going to do our other RE stuff. But we have to play. That's a part of the dedication.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
How many people came? This is such a work of love and
Okay.
yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh, we can't see.
Hold on.
You're fine. Elizabeth is getting the words up on her thing, which the sun is making it hard to read. But I can give some words of thanks. We had some really generous donors who made this possible. And Ryan Urie, who did a lot of work. Okay.
Okay.
This is like perfect with the bells.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's wait until the bells stop.
Okay, we'll wait for the bells. Oh, and we have more people coming. They could probably hear us.
Okay. New things need to be recognized and appreciated. So that's what we do with a dedication. To dedicate means to set something aside for a particular purpose. So what do you think the purpose is for this playground? To play on it! And joy. We're blessing this space, wishing all the good wishes we can in the future. Praying that delight and joy will always surround and fill it.
Now we dedicate this space to the children. Woo-hoo! Yay! And to all those in the future who will use the playground. We dedicate it also to the good of the earth, to which the trees come and to which we all return. We dedicate it for physical movement and for making friends. We dedicate it for creativity.
Okay, I'm going to go in and splash some water on it. This is actually water that we have from that Ginger. You can be gatekeeper.
Okay.
This is actually water that we gathered as part of our water communion. And I wish I had thought of it. If I had, I would have brought like a squirt gun. I think that would have been a really fun way. But I did not think of it. Okay, so we'll just have to flick the water. May this space be blessed by the joy of play and the connections of friends. May it be blessed by the great wide sky and the rich Palouse earth. May it be blessed by those who touch it and move on it and who watch others play. May it connect all who use it, the earth, with one another and with wonder.
All right.
Okay.
We're going to open the gate. And just remember, we all make room for everyone, okay?
Are we ready?
Let's go.
Drum roll from the top.
Come on. You're welcome, Taryn.
Okay. Go. All right, the kids are going to play. The grown-ups, you can come play another time. So we can head on back in, either up the stairs or in through the main doors. Thanks, everyone. You gonna go play, Tommy? Those are free. Yeah, you can take them home. They're not for playing with now, I don't think. So this playground truly is a labor of love. Many hands,
many hours, especially Ginger.
Thanks, Sam.
Did it work?
Yeah,
Yes.
it worked, right?
Beautiful.
Yeah, okay.
Now I'd like to invite Mary Jo Hamilton up to present a check to last month of Sundays.
This is actually a check that's kind of long overdue. Dale Kime was supposed to come and get this check for the Latah Recovery Center, and through one thing and another, he has not been able to make it. So he invited Erin Colombo to come and get the check for him. She's the coordinator of volunteers at the Latah Recovery Center. Thank you again for coming.
Thank you.
So we got $2,132.49 for the recovery center.
I'm so happy to be here. Everyone has been really welcoming and friendly. I was raised Italian Catholic, and my first husband did not want to be Catholic. We visited many churches over 27 years, and I noticed something. You cannot negate the power of prayer or the power of having a church family, but there are people suffering, even in churches, from substance abuse or mental health issues, and they're looking for someone to talk to who's been there where they are. And that's what we offer at Latah Recovery: peer coaching, peer counseling, re-entry program, many other services. And this money goes towards helping those 700 plus people that walk through our doors each year. Thank you.
Now let's take a moment to engage in the practice of generosity together. For those of you able to make a financial contribution, the logistics are on your screen. We typically give away all the cash from our Sunday offering to local charities whose missions align with our values, a program called the Month of Sundays. This month, the recipient is ATVP, Alternatives to Violence of the Palouse, whose mission is supporting survivors of abuse and violence. To donate, please indicate Month of Sundays on your check or from an online drop-down menu. In the spirit of love, and for the continuing work of this church, we will now take some time to practice generosity together. Today's reading is from Threshold of Discovery, a field guide in spirituality and midlife by L. Roger Owens. In the first 4 decades of life, change, if we notice it at all, is nearly synonymous with progress. After 40, change, that devilish shapeshifter, disguises itself ever more frequently as decline. To come to terms with change is to stop living in an illusory world of permanence, a world in which we gather, accumulate, and protect what we deem valuable, falsely believing we can secure our treasures and our lives, an imaginary world that drives greed and violence. To this, Thich Nhat Hanh says, to meditate on Buddhism's 5 remembrances, to let them sink into us, to get used to them so that we might lower our defenses against change and live in something closer to reality. 3 of the 5 remembrances strike me immediately. I am of the nature to grow old. I cannot escape growing old. I am of the nature to die. I cannot escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature to change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. As I read, I feel myself assenting, at the same time rebelling, and it's the rebellion I want to release. For how can I live the next decades of my life if I acknowledge this truth with my mind, but fight it with my living?
For our meditation, then, I invite us all to meditate on the 5 remembrances. So please get comfortable. Perhaps close your eyes. You might let your breath deepen, soften. And what I'd invite you to do is to silently repeat these statements after me. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature to change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My actions are my only true belongings. I cannot escape the consequences of my actions. My actions are the ground upon which I stand. Let's rest in the silence together and let these words echo through us. Amen, and blessed be.
I've been wandering through this land, just doing the best I can, trying to find what I was meant to do. And some people that I see, they look as worried as can be. I know I are a wanderer too. But there's a long and dusty road, it's a hard and heavy load. Friends I meet ain't always kind. Some are bad and some are good. Some have done the best they could. Some have tried to ease my troubling mind. And I can't help but wonder where I'm bound, where I'm bound. Can't help but wonder where I'm bound. Oh, I had me a buddy back home. He started out to roam. Think he's out by the Frisco Bay. And sometimes when I've had a few, his old voice comes ringing through. I'm going out to see him someday. And I can't help but wonder where I'm bound, where I'm bound. Can't help but wonder where I'm bound. Well, if you see me passing by and you sit and you wonder why, wish that you were a rambler too. Or nail your shoes to the kitchen floor, lace them up and bar the door, and thank your stars for the roof that's over you. And I can't help but wonder where I'm bound, where I'm bound. Can't help but wonder where I'm bound. And I can't help but wonder where I'm bound, where I'm bound. Can't help but wonder where I'm bound.
Butte the other day, prompted by the weather predictions, advising that the warm days of early autumn were passing. We arrived just before noon, put the dog on the leash, and headed up the path. The sun coming through the tall trees played colorful tunes as the nuthatches filled themselves with pine nuts. We wound around each turn with more quiet joy. It was a beautiful day. As I sat down on a humble bench on the last turn before the summit, I read the plaque attached at one corner. It said it was provided by Jim and Karen Barron in 2018. Thinking about this Sunday, my mind began to click. Many people here knew the Barrons well. We only lost Karen recently. And what if climbing Kamiak Butte was like life? And reaching the Barron bench was like midway? It might go something like this. When we are young, like school age, everything is ahead of us. The trail is steep, but there's so much to see and learn. The body and the mind devour it, even as each step is work. Every twist and turn brings its own risks and rewards. We feel like we are at the center of a drama of our own making. There ahead is a moment, a bench, to mark the time when, after each challenge on the way, school, work, inner life, family, one finds oneself at a midpoint. The body may have developed some idiosyncrasies, the mind as well. Perhaps one can enjoy the fruits of one's labor, look back on what one has accomplished, look forward to new and different goals. The bench at midlife is a moment to breathe, or maybe it's a moment of critical change. Looking back down the path, one may feel unfulfilled, like the time was wasted, like the rewards are meager, and the clock is ticking. Midlife can bring health issues and thoughts of mortality, may cause one to lash out or act irrationally. Friends say you're going through a midlife crisis, but even as it is happening, likely the knowledge gained from past experience is that this too shall pass. That's the essence of midlife. Perspective. Our climb to the top of the butte resumes, and we feel both the sense of growing exhaustion coupled with anticipation. Midlife passes with much less fanfare than other rites of passage, like graduation or marriage or a job promotion. It's a time best contemplated after it passes. For some, midlife can mean new aches and pains coupled with new responsibilities. Aging parents may now be asking for help, unlike in years past when they were the source of help. There are competing demands, and the household is a weight as well as a badge of accomplishment. A job loss can devastate not only oneself, but the family we support. There is that growing sense that the best years are past, and maybe this is as good as it gets, and maybe this isn't where we want to be after all. My midlife was marked by huge changes: divorce amid the Gulf War and 9/11, America once again choosing war after all the years of war in Vietnam. That kept me awake at night. But I sought and found a pacifist community, and for 10 years I sat in silence on Sundays with the Quakers. It eased my mind and spirit. Today I am so grateful to be a UU member, to participate and give something and get so much more than I give. Thank you to all who contribute, like Jim and Karen Barron, to make this church what it has become, a haven for all ages, for all stages of life. The view from atop Kamiak Butte is vast. On a clear day, one can see for miles and miles. The beauty inspires that great endorphin moment, a sense of awe and gratitude. My life is only a memory, but I hope to bear witness to the salubrious gifts of the passage of time. Thank you all.
That was beautiful, and this is a song by Bill Staines who talks about those canyons and bridges and what we might be able to do about it. So. There are bridges, bridges in the sky, they are shining in the sun. They are stone and steel and wood and wire, they change two things to one. They are languages and letters, they are poetry and awe. They are love and understanding, and they're better than a wall. They are love and understanding, and they're better than a wall. There are canyons, they are yawning in the night. They are rank and bitter anger, and they're all devoid of light. They are fear and blind suspicion, they are apathy and pride. They are dark and so foreboding, and they're oh so very wide. They are dark and so foreboding, and they're oh so very wide. Let us build a bridge of music, let us cross it with a song. Let us span another canyon, let us right another wrong. And if someone should ask us where we're often bound today, we will tell them building bridges and be off and on our way. We will tell them building bridges and be off and on our way. Thank you so much. Not only is it beautiful, but you always manage to find just the right tunes. So I was given by this congregation the incredible gift of a sabbatical back in 2019. It was the perfect midlife pause halfway up the hill. My kids were grown. My youngest had just graduated from high school. And initially, I envisioned sabbatical as a time to reconnect with my then husband, traveling around, figuring out who we were going to be as empty nesters. But as those of you who were around back then remember, we separated just months before I was due to leave. So instead, I got to figure out who I was and who I wanted to be. See, I'd spent most of my life trying to please and care for others, most of my life shape-shifting
First, I tried to be the perfect daughter for my parents. Then I became the person I thought would earn me friends. Then I was the woman my husband wanted me to be, and then the mother my kids needed me to be. And even in my professional life, I attempted to be the minister the people I served expected. I lost hold of myself. Never completely. I don't think that would be possible. But my own wants and needs and preferences got slippery somehow. I would just let them go if I thought they might get in the way of what others were asking me for. Now, on sabbatical, I had two primary spiritual practices. The first was to write a poem every day. I've shared a few of those in the years since I got back, but I don't think I've shared this one. It's the very first poem I wrote, and it was called Thresholds. It reads, "At my alma mater in the venerable old buildings, there were marble thresholds with deep indents in the center, worn down by thousands of eager feet. The bathroom at home has no threshold at all. On both sides, the flooring is frayed and damaged, a reminder that what marks our edge keeps us whole. Then there is this threshold, the one right in front of me that seemingly hangs in midair. I could step back, but the smell of salt water and possibility lures me on, and I've been strengthening wing muscles for months now. One last glance over my shoulder, a deep breath for courage, and then one for trust. A third to let in the love that surrounds, upholds, abides. Then nothing for it but to launch." My second spiritual practice was to ask myself every day, every moment really, self, what do you want? Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? Even, self, what are you in the mood to eat? See, I'd lost hold of the answers to each of those questions, so I had to learn how to listen to my own inner voice again. What a thing to feel like my own self was so unfamiliar that claiming it would be the equivalent of throwing myself off a cliff. That journey of self-discovery I started on sabbatical has continued in the years since I came back. More and more, I feel solid in myself. At this point, I know who I am, I know what I like and what I want. There's power in claiming my authentic shape, claiming the fullness of who I am. And yeah, I sometimes joke that my warranty ran out when I hit 50. All of a sudden, I needed glasses and to start taking blood pressure medication. But, I'm finally living something that I've actually preached for decades, which is that you can't love others if you don't love yourself first. For me, midlife has been and continues to be an exciting journey of discovery. I'm still working on things like self-compassion, healthy boundaries, and discernment. I'm still learning my limits, still figuring out how to balance all the things I enjoy and the need for rest. I'm determined to make sure that the back half of my life is lived to the fullest, by which I mean I want the life I live to be the life that is in me longing to be lived. By which I mean I want to move through this world with integrity, with my true self, with my deep values. By which I mean being wholly, unabashedly, even enthusiastically, just me.
I am told it's a hard life. I am told it is lonely out here. But it's too late to turn back now. I must follow this path with cheer. And at night I lay down aching for some place that I'd rather see. But it's all that I have, it's all that I am, and it's all that I'm likely to be. Out of the mountains and south to the desert, I'm trailing the old girls home. I am following paths laid down long before me. I'm following home. Oh yes, I have a family somewhere. They'll remember me in their prayers. And when I get this band off this mountain, I'll fall deeply in their care. And I thank God my children have found a better way to live. Oh, they have worked hard and they have learned well. They have all that this life has to give. Out of the mountains and south to the desert, I'm trailing the old girls home. I am following paths laid down long before me. I'm following home. Future. Ooh, time is passing slowly, quickly. Out of the mountains and south to the desert, I'm trailing the old girls home. I am following paths laid down long before me. I'm following home. Oh, out of the mountains, I am trailing the old girls home. I am following paths laid down long before me. I am following home. I am following home. I realized I never said that I grew up as a sheep herder, and that's about following the sheep home and how it's a part of your life that's been there for centuries, and it's quite meditative, the following home. Well, and that's a Launchba original, right? It's a Launchba original, yeah. Thank you so much. So, in every stage of our life journey, our spiritual journey, we need one another. We need people to see us. We need people to reflect back what they see. We need people to call us on our stuff. And we need people to create that container, that safe place
where we can bring down the walls and speak from the truth at our core. It goes beyond just an awareness that humans are social animals. It runs deeper than the awareness of our interdependence. We require a safe and loving environment to become the people we are meant to be. It's only through becoming the people we are meant to be that we can create the world that we are dreaming of. The conversations that we have in circles of trusted friends are the best and most powerful tool we have for advancing our collective understanding of what is right and true. Quaker author and educator Parker Palmer has written a book about circles of trust called A Hidden Wholeness. I recommend it to you highly. Here are his words on shared truth, which I find particularly applicable in this extended, tortuous pre-election season. According to conventional wisdom, we arrive at shared truth only by confronting and correcting each other in debate. But my experience suggests that we rarely change our minds and move toward mutual understanding in the heat of argument. Instead, we become separated from each other and from the inner teacher by our fear of losing the battle. And the energy we expend trying to make sure that we win leaves us with no resources for reflection and transformation. In combative situations, some people withdraw from the fray, disappearing into foxholes of private belief where the conflict cannot touch them. Others stay on the field and fight by clinging more tightly to some pre-existing conviction, wielding it to fend off their foes like the familiar weapon it is. In the midst of intellectual or spiritual warfare, we rarely risk expressing those tentative probes and vulnerable ideas that might lead us to new insights, but would also leave us open to attack. He continues, confronted by the enemy, we become even more committed to whatever we have always believed and are less likely to embrace the challenges that might lead to new understanding. But in a circle of trust, whose ground rules forbid us from correcting and confronting each other, a remarkable thing happens. We confront and correct ourselves. To put it more precisely, the inner teacher confronts and corrects us. In such a circle, we feel safe enough to put forth tentative and fragile insights. Here, we have a chance over time to sit quietly with our own and other people's thoughts, a chance to see how our insights relate to the larger pattern of the group, and to determine how much of that pattern we wish to embrace as our own. In a circle of trust, this tapestry of truth is woven continually right before our eyes. As I watch it emerge, I see places where someone, perhaps me, contributed a thread that seems to enhance the pattern, and places where someone, perhaps me, contributed a thread to what that now seems discordant. Slowly, organically, my sense of true and false, right and wrong has a chance to evolve. A fabric of life woven on the loom called a circle of trust. Truth evolves within us, between us, and around us as we participate in the eternal conversation. Isn't that lovely? I invite you to remember that passage the next time you're tempted to argue politics on Facebook with your crazy uncle or that old friend from elementary school. Palmer continues, in a circle of trust, we learn a third way to respond to the violence of the world, so called because it gives us an alternative to the ancient animal instinct of fight or flight. To fight is to meet violence with violence, generating more of the same. To flee is to yield to violence, putting private sanctuary ahead of the common good. The third way is the way of nonviolence, by which I mean a commitment to act in every situation in ways that honor the soul. I've never been in a circle of trust where nonviolence was the focus of discussion, but nonviolence is the tacit curriculum of every such circle I know. As we create a safe space for each other's soul, we discover what it means to live nonviolently, and we develop a vision of how we might live that way in daily life. We begin to see how the principles and practices of the circle could be exported to other parts of our worlds, to the family, the neighborhood, the workplace, and the public arena. Now we understand a simple but significant truth. The third way is not a path of high heroism reserved for the likes of Gandhi and King. It is a path that can and must be walked by mortals like you and me. In fact, walking the third way is much like literal walking. It means taking simple steps, one at a time, steps that honor the soul. I hope this sounds a little familiar, in particular to those of you who are part of one of our small group ministries. How many of you are part of a small group? That includes the men's group, Wellspring, the bereavement group. Now, if you're not a part of a small group and you would like to be, please come and find me after the service or shoot me an email sometime. It is an incredible privilege to be trusted to hold someone's soul truth in a small group. It is an incredible gift to be held this way. And as Palmer points out, once we experience it in one aspect of our lives, we tend to carry it with us as an approach in other settings, in our work, in our friendships, in the wider community. And ever so slowly, everything is transformed. And that's why I do what I do. It's why I am a minister. I've said before that my bedrock faith is in the resilience of the human spirit. But for the spirit to bounce back, for a person to heal, there needs to be a place where they can be held by a circle of trust. We need companions on the journey. George Odell wrote, "All our lives we are in need, and others are in need of us." May we be brave enough to recognize our need, and generous enough to offer a kind and accepting presence to others. May we trust the still, small voice and take the steps it asks of us so that together we can meet the world's needs. May we ever and always anchor our faith in love and in one another through all the seasons of our lives. So be it, and so may it be. I invite you now to rise in body or spirit. We'll sing hymn number 131, Love Will Guide Us. Love will guide us, peace has dried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night. If you cannot sing like angels, if you cannot speak before thousands, you can get it from deep within you. You can change the world with your love. Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night. Please be seated. Our closing reading is a poem I've shared here before, but Zena says we can read it every week if we want. It's called The Layers by Stanley Kunitz. I've walked through many lives, some of them my own, and I am not who I was, though some principle of being abides from which I struggle not to stray. When I look behind, as I am compelled to look before I can gather strength to proceed on my journey, I see the milestones dwindling toward the horizon, and the slow fires trailing from the abandoned campsites over which scavenger angels wheel on heavy wings. Oh, I have made myself a tribe out of my true affections, and my tribe is scattered. How shall the heart be reconciled to its feast of losses? In a rising wind, the manic dust of my friends, those who fell along the way, bitterly stings my face, yet I turn exulting somewhat, with my will intact, to go wherever I need to go. And every stone on the road, precious to me. In my darkest night, when the moon was covered and I roamed through wreckage, a nimbus-clouded voice directed me, live in the layers, not on the litter. Though I lack the art to decipher it, no doubt the next chapter in my book of transformations is already written. I am not done with my changes. Let's sing together our musical benediction, There is a Love. Please join me in the words to embody the flame of our chalice. Nancy, would you mind? We extinguish this chalice that it might glow gently in our hearts. May it light our paths as we leave this place. May it guide our way until we are together again. So go forth and remember every stone sacred, every step on your path unique and precious, every moment you live held in love. Go in peace. Come back next Sunday.